Hey everyone, welcome back to the Pop Culture Lighthouse podcast, where every week we just present you with some helpful tips, recommendations, insights to help you to better navigate and simplify your experience with pop culture entertainment. My name is LJ Nadal, and today we're going to be talking about the Oscars, the Academy Awards. The 94th Academy Awards are this weekend, Sunday, the 27th of March, and oh boy, we've got a lot of things to share, to talk about today on today's show about the Oscars this weekend. We want to bring you guys, just highlight some of the most important topics and things that are going on with the controversy surrounding this year's Oscars. There's usually controversy with the Oscars, right? It's usually the people that are nominated. It's usually with the movies that are being presented. But this year, it seems like the controversy is really stemming from the actual show itself. So we're going to get into that today. We're going to really highlight the most important parts of the controversy, and then we're just going to give our thoughts. And if there's time, we're also going to give you a little bit of our predictions as well. And so the reason I'm saying our and we is because joining me today and being back on the show this week, and we're super excited to have him back, and that is Alex Hughes. Alex, how are you doing, buddy?
Doing good. How's everybody doing here? Doing good today.
Dude,
So glad to be back.
I'm doing well, and I'm super happy to have you back. I mean, I missed you last week. Miss you, whenever we're not working together and talking movies and stuff. It's always a shame. So having you back is just awesome. It fills me with more energy. I'm not talking to an empty room. I
Right.
mean,
So
I
it's
am
always easier
technically,
to talk to somebody else. Yeah.
yeah, I am technically talking to an empty room right now. But you're in front of me on the screen, so at least there's something that I can go off of here.
It's always easier to talk to somebody on a screen versus just talking to a camera. Fully understand that.
Yeah. So yeah, do you want to we can get started and everything like that, but before that, do you want to have anything off the top of your head that you want to share, or anything been going on in your life that big
Well, the
stuff, anything?
new Halo series just came out today. So first
Oh, have you been watching
episode
Halo?
I watched. It's just they're doing it weekly, so it's just one episode at a time.
Gotcha.
It's not bad. It's better than I thought it would be. But they broke the one rule of Halo, which is don't take off the
They showed
mask.
Master Chief's face. Yeah,
Yeah,
I heard
for
about
like
that.
episode
I heard
one.
about that. All the game players are all talking about it.
Episode one takes off the dude's helmet, and then like in my head, I was like, I guess it kind of works for that situation, but then he should put it immediately back on, and he
Yeah.
doesn't put it on for the
I mean,
rest of
hey,
the
it works.
episode.
Doesn't it work for the Mandalorian?
Right,
You
it
know?
works for Mandalorian to take it off
Yeah.
like once and then put it back on for the rest of the time. Like for Master Chief, the whole thing is that he never takes off his helmet. You never see it ever. And now they're like,
Yeah.
well, we've got a guy beneath the helmet that we want to give screen time to. It's like, no,
Yeah, it's true.
respect the content. But I will give them props in the CG work was really well done with the Covenant and their weapons and all of that. And they included all of the old sound effects from the game. So I loved the different sounds of like the plasma pistol, the plasma rifle, the over shield for Master Chief going down, like the waiting, like it was like exactly from the game. And I loved that.
Nice.
And so like there were some pieces where I was like, that was good. That was a good moment. But
Cool.
and the story wasn't terrible. It's definitely like a story that everybody's heard of before, where it's soldier turns rogue because of person that he saves from planet under siege. Like it's the same thing all the time, where it's like you have this thing and someone goes rogue and then you have to chase them, and then it's kind of a basic story, but I think it'll be all right. I'm just nervous for them to bring in Cortana, because last time we saw Cortana in that commercial, it was awful. So who
Yeah, it
knows what
wasn't
they're
the
gonna do?
best. Yeah.
But that's
Yeah, who
my
knows?
off the top thoughts, was just mainly with the Halo, since that just dropped today.
Cool,
So
man. Cool. And yeah, I mean, that's something that I definitely want to check out. It's cool to hear your thoughts about it.
yeah, it's over
And
on
my
Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus, yep, go check it out. But yeah, so my off the top is just I'm just still thinking about the Oscars, man. I mean,
Oh yeah,
because I've been a fan of the Academy Awards probably since around 2014, 2015. I mean, it's a huge part of pop culture, but I mean, I didn't really pay as much attention to the actual show itself until I got to college. And Alex, we
Yeah,
were in college
definitely.
together and everything like that too. And I think our love for movies and everything definitely grew during that time.
Oh yeah,
And so I
I definitely
remember,
didn't. I paid attention a little bit to the Oscars in high school, but once we got to college, it was like, oh, these are movies I can enjoy, not just looking for. Because I remember when I was in high school, I was like, oh, like why aren't the Marvel movies getting anything? Like I didn't fully understand that like
right,
Interstellar deserved the visual effects
the
Oscar.
technical
Yeah,
achievements.
not
Yeah.
not whatever Marvel movie came out that year. Like is like obviously they deserved that. And so I think because I remember having a discussion in high school with one of my teachers, and they were like, "Well, have you seen Interstellar?" I was like, "No, but I just figured like Marvel looked really good." They're like, "Well, you should go watch that and understand why." And that kind of like, oh, I should know what I'm talking about and actually be able to argue a point rather than just saying I like this movie, so it should win. Um,
Right.
so that kind of got me on that path of, oh, let's see what's up for best picture. Let's see what's up for all these different categories. And this time I got 6 out of the 10 done. So, and
Nice, man.
we'll see if
Good job, man.
tomorrow I get around to watching what was it? I Drive My Car, because that's on HBO Max. So I might watch that before Sunday, but that's also a
It's
three
pretty
hour
good.
movie. It's one of those where it's a 3 hour movie, and so it like even like Dune and stuff, like I watched that because I had time to watch it. But whereas like for like I Drive My Car, it's not something that I would be wanting to watch like Friday night. Like, oh yeah, let's just watch a 3 hour foreign film with a bunch of subtitles that I've heard is good. And it's like I'll probably end up watching it after the Oscars. But then the other one I was looking at watching was the Legend of Tammy Faye, because I've heard a lot of good stuff about that. But that was mainly for Best Actress, and so
Yeah, the Eyes of
yeah,
Tammy Faye. That's a good
yeah,
one
that's what
too.
it was. Yeah,
That's a
and then
good one.
I'd love to watch Coda, but it's Apple TV, so
It is, but Regal's doing the $5
oh, are
movie
they?
ticket. They're replaying the Best Picture movies.
When? Now I need to.
If you check on their website on Regal, you can see the dates because
Oh, that's
they're sort of
amazing.
staggered. So I think
Okay.
tonight, I think I
Yeah,
saw
I'll
tonight
be
they're
looking at
playing.
that later.
Yeah, I
For
think tonight
sure.
they're playing Dune and King Richard and
I watched King Richard
Nightmare Alley.
today. Watched King Richard today. Very good. Very
Nice,
much better
nice.
than I thought it was going to be. Very good movie.
Good, man. Good. Glad you're getting around to watching some of these nominees because we'll actually get into some of those topics and everything as we go through our discussion. But let's get started with going into our topic for today and just sharing with you guys, like we said at the beginning of this show, the some of the most important parts of the controversy surrounding the Oscars this weekend. We know there's a lot of opinions. There's a lot of people talking out there on the internet. There's a ton of articles, there's a ton of things circulating that you can watch, but we want to try to simplify it for you, give you guys the information in a way that's really digestible. And so we want to try to get through that real quick. And before we get into the controversy, Alex, before we get into the bad stuff that's coming out with the Oscars, why don't we talk about a couple of things that I think are really good? Two things in particular that are going to really be, I think, a huge blessing to the film community, the people who are movie nerds and who love movies, but also to the people who I believe who've been underserved and underrepresented in across the academy and across just the world and society.
Mhm.
And their love and their appreciation for movies is just as important as yours and my appreciation for movies. And that's a specific community that we'll talk about. So let's get into some of the good stuff that I think is going to come out of these
Yeah,
awards shows.
let's get into it.
Um, yeah, let's do it, man. So, what are your thoughts on the first good thing that I wanted to highlight was uh, it seems like this Oscars show is going to really be focusing on reaching the deaf community. And they're doing that specifically through having a focus on ASL interpreters and as well as live closed captioning for people who are deaf and impaired hearing and uh,
Mhm.
other parts like that.
Differing like hearing disabilities.
Yeah, differing disabilities with hearing to be able to experience and appreciate this year's Oscars, especially because the movie Coda being
Right.
nominated for how many awards it is and getting all of the
Mhm.
love and the awards that it's been winning. It's super important, I think, to me, and I think this is just a special time right now for that community. And I think that's a huge, just a huge win overall across the board for the Academy Awards, really making that a focus. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think it's amazing that they're finally kind of doing something like this for this large of a live event, which makes me think that they'll be improving this type of software updates and whatever they have to do to make the closed captioning better for other live events like the Grammys and different things like different Tonight shows and a lot of other things that are or like Olympics as well, like things that are like filmed live. And then obviously if you watch a taped version, then it'll have captions and everything. But I think it'll be a really good way to bring the spotlight into that community where it's like, hey, these people enjoy TV and movies too. Just because they have to watch the subtitles doesn't mean they don't enjoy it. And I think it'll be cool to see if like different studios might start getting ASL interpreters for, like I said, Tonight shows or different event shows and stuff like that, to where if you're either in the audience or in like at home watching, if they have a separate feed for like that has like a picture in picture type thing with an interpreter, I think it'd be really cool to see that become a lot more mainstream rather than having to have certain things with your TV settings and whatnot. And if you don't have that, then you're kind of just out of luck. So I think it's a huge step in the right direction for the deaf community, especially. And I will say, like, it's sorry, I didn't mean to. I had
No,
a
I
long
was
gap
just I
there.
was agreeing with you. I was saying that's absolutely my thoughts as well.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it is in my mind. So I have a cynical mind when it comes to stuff like this because I see it as the Academy trying to make a buck off of it rather
Oh,
than right. And
you're
it's
fine to
like
have a
on
cynical
the
mind, man, for sure about these
yeah,
some of
and
these
so
shows
it's
for sure.
because they're coming in on the coattails of Coda, and so like that just brought a huge spotlight into the hearing disability community and the deaf community as a whole. And so it's great that they're doing that, but obviously, I mean, I just hope this isn't a one-time thing. I hope they continue this and make it a normal thing rather than, oh, we have like actors and actresses that are deaf, or I don't know the cast for Coda if any of them actually have those disabilities, but like if they're at the Oscars, they would need an ASL interpreter. And so it's one of those things where I hope they continue it even if it's not a mainstream thing. So it's again, it's a studio kind of publicity stunt to say we're having all this stuff for the deaf community. It's like, well, I mean, you kind of have to. It's not a like, sure, it's great that you're doing it and it's fully appreciated, but it only really makes a difference if you do it when you don't absolutely need it. So hopefully
Right.
it'll start the trend and they're able to continue that trend rather than just having it be a one-time thing.
Hopefully, man. I mean, I think that it is great. Like you mentioned, I think it's great for bringing that community in. The movie is so special. I mean, the movie is so special. It does leave you speechless, and that's not just because of
Mm-hmm.
the focus on the deaf uh, aspects. But I do believe that this movie is it puts you in the shoes of people that you're really not used to being in the shoes of. I think that it's powerful. I think that it's moving in a very just human way
Mm-hmm.
for all people. I have high expectations for Coda for this Academy Awards, and I think that's one of the reasons why the love is really being shown this way. I think it does have to do some with like, yeah, we're trying to be corporate and make some money off of the success, which is totally valid. But I also lean more towards after seeing the movie, I lean more towards it just being like, this is just we feel this like celebration
Mm-hmm.
of people who are deaf,
Yeah.
and that hopefully it can branch out because I think that it's good to see quality film making and movie people that just
Mm-hmm.
love movies being able to have access to it.
Yeah. So like I know like one of our friends, Rebecca, like she like it's part of her family
Yeah.
and stuff. So I'd love to see or hear her thoughts on that
Oh,
movie
I think real
just to
quick, I think
see.
yeah, our friend Rebecca, her family, the Weibel family, if they haven't already seen it, I think some of them might have already seen it, but I don't think Rebecca has.
Okay.
I think they're watching it this week because we're all going to be meeting together later this
Yeah.
week to watch the show.
Mm.
But I think that they're going to like I was crying, like it just well, we can talk about it later. You know, we don't have to get into it
Right.
right now, but I just love the celebration of that and of people that are special. Uh, and it doesn't necessarily mean because someone's special and because they have uh, quote unquote disability or special needs. That doesn't mean they're helpless.
Hmm.
And I think that the movie dives into some really interesting and important topics that certain families will definitely like feel that punch in the
Yeah,
in their heart.
and it's another thing to finally see like yourself, like different families seeing themselves represented on the screen, like being able to see
Absolutely.
themselves reflected on screen is a huge thing.
Absolutely. So yeah, so and then moving on to the other thing that I wanted to highlight, which I think is just a really good net positive. I really couldn't find any downside or anything super controversial about this other topic as well, and that is that there is going to be a tribute to both the James Bond franchise this Oscars and as
Hmm.
the Godfather, the original Godfather. It's been about 50 years, so they'll do a
Crazy.
50-year celebration at this year's Oscars. For the James Bond one, they're going to do a performance of the song "No Time to Die," as well as I think they'll do some other tribute as well.
Okay.
Maybe bring some actors and some different people together. Maybe have like a little
Yeah, that'd be
video
awesome.
montage.
See all the
Yeah,
different either video call in or see all of them, all the different Bonds come on stage.
it would be so cool to see that. And then also with the Godfather,
Hmm.
they'll be reuniting the cast and the director Francis Ford Coppola. So they'll all be together. They're all, looking great, even though they're very old. And the movie came out in 1972 or
Just
71, whatever.
crazy.
I think it's going to be. I just can't see any downside.
Yeah.
As a movie fan and as a lover of cinema, I don't think that this is such a great choice by the Academy Awards. What are your thoughts on James
I mean,
Bond and Godfather?
they're two huge things in the movie industry, both like Bond transcending decades of different content and ranging in different genres just within the movie franchise alone. And then the Godfather trilogy and especially like Godfather 1 and 2 are some of the most highly regarded films in film history. So for them to show appreciation for it and like have these reunions on stage is, yeah, there's no real like downside. I don't see any like capitalization on it or anything. It's just a really cool thing for them to do. I am hoping that they do. So if they do perform the No Time to Die, which I think makes sense because it's the one from that's been nominated as well. I think it'd be cool if they did like a like medley or a montage of previous Bond songs because there are some really good ones in there. So
They did in 2013. I think was the last James Bond Oscar tribute, and I think
okay.
they might have had. I could be totally wrong, but they might have had Shirley Bassey sing because
Oh,
she
okay.
did Goldfinger, right?
Hmm.
Moonraker and what
Some of those
Diamonds
older
Are
ones.
Forever.
That sounds
Uh,
right. Yeah.
so she sang like a medley of those three, I think. But that was also when Skyfall was out. So I think
Yeah.
they had the Adele song Skyfall, which is an amazing, not just an amazing James Bond song. By the way,
That was a
side
great
note,
song. Yeah.
those James Bond theme songs are iconic,
Oh yeah.
classic. But it
100%.
wasn't just a great Bond song. It was a great Skyfall was a great just song in general.
Hmm.
And I think that this year with No Time to Die, I think that it's another classic. It's another hit. I don't think I would put it on the level of Skyfall, but it's definitely up there
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
it's up there. I don't know if it quite reaches to Adele level of
No,
performance, but
I don't
yeah,
think so either.
it was definitely a really good song for them to
It was
choose.
good, very
So
good, and I'm looking forward to. It sounds like both of us are really looking forward to some of those more positive notes coming out of the show. And I don't think that you can find any controversy with those things.
yeah, those are just
But
going to
that
be good all around.
Right, and that's actually what's going to lead us into the bad things now, because once you look into some of the controversy, once you look into what's actually been going on, you start to piece together, what could possibly take place this weekend. What could we expect? What can you guys expect? And who knows? The show could be great. I mean, just because something is controversial and things are causing outrage and arguments online, and from both the viewers and the people who are nominated, the actual stars, the celebrities
Yeah.
themselves. It seems like there's just so much resistance and pushback, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the show itself is going to be terrible. We wanted to just say that, right up front. The
Right.
Oscars have the Oscars have always been, no matter what year, no matter what's kind of been going on, the Oscars always have those awkward moments. They have those moments where the jokes kind of fall flat, or where a segment doesn't really make much sense,
Yep.
or the speeches go too long or get too political. Right. That's the other thing is movies are kind of an escape from politics, but part of pop culture is going to these Hollywood award shows and seeing these celebrities talk about politics and
Yeah.
share,
They're like, got to
you know,
use my platform, and we're like, but you don't.
and
Like,
get a
it's great and
lecture.
all, but
Exactly, man. Exactly. And, get a lecture from an elite, a society
Mhm.
elite, about like my life, and
Yeah.
those types of things they're part of pop culture. These awards shows are part of that. But we're actually going to hopefully give you guys some really valuable insight into why things are kind of looked at so controversially with this, why this award show in particular, if I could sum up what I've been kind of rambling on, why this award show in particular is different and what makes it distinct, and why some of these choices are really a slap in the face
Yeah.
to what makes this show, the Oscars show in particular, what it is. And so let's get into the controversy and the negative,
Yeah.
the negative things. And I wanted to start today, Alex, with first off, Rachel Ziegler or Ziegler. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce her name.
Yeah, I think it's Ziegler, but man, I
Ziegler.
didn't
Okay.
I didn't know this happened until you sent me this
Yeah.
article.
So
Like, my
so
goodness.
well, of course, things kind of, you know, new, like every now and then a couple stories come through and you don't put together all the pieces, right? So these stories come
Mm.
out, but this is the week leading up to the Oscars. This happened on Monday, this past Monday. Um,
Oh
this
man.
actress who Rachel Ziegler, who is she's one of the stars of the nominated for multiple Academy Awards. I think it's
She's
7
the main
awards.
star. She is
She's the
Maria for West
star.
Side Story. Like,
She's the star of West Side
what?
Story, and she posted on Instagram
Oh
this past Monday
man.
that she wasn't even invited to the Oscars.
She'd be cheering from her couch. Like, what is that?
And it sparked like, when I say outrage, I mean like it sparked so much outrage, not just from fans and viewers and people that, just online, but it sparked so much outrage from the actual community of filmmakers and actors,
Mhm.
actresses, and everybody. And the Academy Awards finally, I think yesterday, sent her an invite.
Yeah, so it says after a day of Twitter anger over
Right. I'm not sure
Ziegler's.
exactly when. I saw Wednesday is when they sent her an official invite to be a presenter at the Oscars. So she's
Right.
actually going to be a presenter now. But this controversy, man, it sparked so much outrage across the world. All movie fans were just like, "What? Why would you do this? She's one of the stars, and not just the star of this movie, but I think she's also starring in a Disney Snow White movie. I think she's actually the star
Yeah.
in another movie of a big movie coming out, and so." Why would you just overlook this star? It just makes no sense.
And
And when everything happened, they waited till the outrage sort of like
yeah,
flamed out of control for them to do anything. So, what are your
like
thoughts, Alex, on this?
I would say the way the article reads, like, it makes it sound like they never reached out to her, which is just like a slap in the face. Like, if they had reached out and she wasn't able to go because of the Snow White production,
Real
that's
quick,
one
Alex,
thing.
can I cut you off for a second? Your audio
Yeah.
cut out, so rewind the last
Is it?
15 seconds and just
Are we
talk
good?
talk a little bit.
We
Yeah,
good
yeah, no,
now?
you're good.
Okay.
It was like, I think it might have been my connection, but just
Okay.
reiterate what you were saying about 15 seconds ago.
No worries. With the way the article reads is that it makes it feel like they never sent an invite to her, period, which is like a huge slap in the face. Like, you are the star of a Best Picture nomination. Like, she is Maria of the West Side Story musical. You should be invited to that show, and you should go on stage if they win Best Picture. Like, that is a thing that should happen.
Hmm.
And like, the fact that she'd be on her couch and not like, oh well, I'm in production, so I couldn't do it. Like, I'm like, if she's filming in London, like, totally makes sense. But they should have reached out and then found out that she was in production, not the other way around, where they just never reach out and then find out she's available.
Never.
Like, that's not that's not how that should work. Like, I'd be okay if she wasn't presenting. Like, that's not a huge deal because not a lot of like nominees
Right.
usually do a lot of presenting. Totally fine. But the fact that she wasn't invited to the Oscars is just ridiculous. And it just makes zero sense. Like, that would never happen with any other Best Picture nominations. And it's like, because then you've also got like her co-star who's up for like Best Supporting Actress.
I
I'm
think she
sure,
might actually win too.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's a shoe-in for it. It's like, so I'm sure she got an invite. So why didn't the main character get it? Like, it
It's
makes
such a
zero sense.
it's such a head scratcher, and for those of you at home who might not be into the movie business or into all the celebrity stuff and everything going on, I mean, not only is it important for the Oscars to be representing all of Hollywood well, right? I mean, she's a Latina actress as
Yeah,
well, so it's
that just like salt in the wound
also
right there.
it puts a lot into what the Academy has been striving for the past 2 years, especially. So last year's Academy Awards, there was such a huge focus on diversity, especially because we're
Hmm.
coming out of the pandemic, right, Alex? Like, we have the George Floyd protests, we
Yep.
have the racial tension in the United States, and so last year's Oscars, which were I didn't actually tune in for last
I
year's
was like, I
Oscars.
don't think I watched last year's
I
Oscars.
it
I
was
forgot they were happening.
yeah, it was just tough at the time. I watched a couple of the
I say
movies,
it
last
was
year,
like a
but
weird
it
like
was
live stream
Nomadland.
thing too, right? It
It
was
was.
like,
I'm not sure if it was
yeah,
all live streamed, like
like a
pre-recorded. I
Zoom
think they
thing.
might have.
Well,
I
because
don't
I
think it
know
was
that
all. I think that some of them met together,
I say I
but they
think, yeah, I
had
think some people were at like their homes together with other people, but I
right,
think
like
that
some.
like the host was just like talking to an empty like
Yeah, there was
room.
no.
It was just
Yeah, there was
weird.
no host. But the thing was, some of the actors and actresses who won awards, they were video chatted in, like they weren't actually
Hmm.
there. So it was a weird thing during a very politically charged time, and
Yeah.
the movies that came out were good, but didn't necessarily like the ones that I saw last year
Yeah, I don't even
for the
remember what
Academy
was
Awards. They
nominated. Like,
yeah
just
they
to put that out there, I have no clue what movies were
yeah it,
nominated for 2020 because there were so few that came out. Like, I know
right.
Tenet was probably up there because it was like one of the only ones that had a theatrical release.
No,
But
I mean, it was
other
like
than that,
Minari. It was like Minari and Nomadland ended up winning, and
okay,
Chloe
yeah,
Zhao won for best director. So it was like the
right,
first
right,
female of color or Asian
yeah,
descent that won. So, but either way, the Oscars overall. I mean, you had Regina King up there,
hmm,
and she sort of opened the ceremony, I believe, last year. And the whole thing was about diversity, and it was about embracing, different races and different backgrounds. But it's such a slap in the face to some of, and the Academy is also trying to change the members that are there. They're trying to get new and diverse ethnicities and groups into the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences. And just to kind of add insult to injury, you're excluding people in a time where you're really telling people that you're including them. So it's another little.
yeah. And it's one of those things where it's like, why did it happen this way? Like, I'm curious as to like, did someone forget to send it? Was it just never gonna be sent? Was it something lost in communication? Was there like the studio talking to the Academy and
I
said,
don't
don't
think
invite
there.
her? And it's
I
like, so
don't
it's,
think there was anything
there
lost
probably
in.
wasn't.
I think that because if you look at the guest list and the people that are actually at the Academy Awards, some of them should have no business really being there. That's something we're going to
Yeah,
talk about later.
that's like, yeah, another topic coming up where it's like, okay,
And they made sure to get them invites, made sure that
yeah,
they were taken care of, but the star of one of the best picture nominated movies that has other categories it's nominated for, you're not even gonna do anything for her. I mean, that's just
it's just so
it's a
ridiculous.
bad controversy that I don't think has happened in recent years
Yeah.
that I can remember. So
And it's
that's
not we're
definitely
not
one
even
of the
at the
things.
Oscars yet. We're not even there yet, and they've got something this big. Like,
Yeah, yeah. So
oh man.
so that's a yeah. So that's something that we're very we wanted to let you guys know about if you guys haven't seen some of the outrage, but. All to be fair, they did invite her, and she's going to be one of the presenters now. So
They
all of
kind of
that
fixed the
seems to have
mistake.
been all of those mistakes seem to have been fixed with her. So that's good because you always want to, if you're doing something wrong, you want to learn from it, move on, and
Hmm.
we all make mistakes, like you said, Alex. If there was a mistake, we all make mistakes. And so we want to give them the benefit of the doubt. But that's something that definitely sparked off a lot of controversy first,
Yeah,
right off
no
the bat.
kidding.
Now, the next thing I want to talk to you about, Alex, or next thing I want to present is they are changing the showtime this year for the Academy Awards, which usually start around 5 p.m., I want to say, Pacific Standard Time. So around, what is that, 8 o'clock p.m.?
Yeah, 8 Eastern.
Eastern, around that time. So this year they're going to be doing an earlier showtime. I actually saw on one article that they're actually going as early as 1 p.m. to start the red carpet coverage, because it's going to go into what we're going to talk about next. They're going to be asking the people to come earlier than they've ever done before, because the Oscars show is usually a bloated 3-hour long. At times, it can kind of lull you to sleep a little bit. At times, it's not as
Right. I mean, it's an
exciting.
award. It's an award show.
It's an
It's just
award
how
show,
it goes.
but it
Nobody
goes
sits through the
long.
entire Hall of Fame for NFL. Like, that's not.
Yeah.
It's an award show.
hurts.
It's not meant to be entertaining the entire time.
Well,
Like,
we'll get into that. We'll get into that, because
right.
that's actually part of what the controversy we feel like could have been avoided that way. But just talking about this earlier showtime, Alex, I mean, the stars and the celebrities, people that are known for the term fashionably late, I mean, that's where it comes from, Hollywood. They're being told to show up a couple hours earlier. And the reason why is because they're pre-taping some shows, which that's going to be like our next sort of thing that we talk about. But that causes a whole bunch of logistical problems, right? I mean, if everybody's already put on their schedule that they're going to be showing up at a certain time, and then because of COVID, last year I think they staggered the people that were coming in so that not everybody was coming at the same time, and you had the big mass. But now you have people that need to do red carpet interviews while also needing to go in for the taping of the show before the actual live show starts. So you have all these people, all these volunteers and staff members going around, but then you have all the people, all of the celebrities and all of their staff people running around trying to basically like ferry them between all these different things happening. And then the show is still going to be long, right? It's not just going to,
like, they're
logistics
still gonna have
are
that
kind of
time
crazy.
slot, and they're still gonna have probably a 2 or 3 hour time slot, regardless of how many awards they're giving. So it's like, okay, but why are you doing it the way you're doing it? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's a logistical nightmare for people planning the event, especially if you're one of those people that has to be, for example, a like personal assistant or someone to the celebrity. I mean, you got to make sure that they get there on time, that they're where they need to be. And I think like other award shows, they pre-record, they pre-tape certain awards and stuff, because their focus is definitely on, if not, for example, the Emmys, where they have live performances, or they're trying to focus more on doing the performances. You have the Grammys, which are giving out 1 million awards, So
yes,
I mean,
many awards.
That's why those shows take long time, and they pre-record and they have all that stuff logistically. It's tough. They're bloated, and they give a lot of awards out. The Oscars are a little bit different. I mean, they do focus on those categories. The shows just take a long time, and
take longer.
And the viewership is going to reflect that. And if you're a hardcore movie fan, you stay all the way through. You can kind of mute, certain things, like you can kind of like
you just
have it on.
But you just have it on.
But when you get into some of those categories that you have a vested interest in, you want to stay for it. And just because it's a bloated time doesn't necessarily mean that you should be doing all these logistical changes, because maybe it works, maybe they pull it off, but also, I mean, what a big mess this could be possibly, if everybody's showing up, and some, some of the stars are still going to show up late, right? Like some of them are still going to come
100%. Yeah.
Hopefully none of the main stars or anyone that's presenting an award is going to be late, but you know how it is. It's usually like, just having this massive time change, I think, is going to be just basically changing how the way that the Academy Awards have worked since the beginning of the award show itself.
Yeah, and I'm looking through, and it looks like they're still doing like the airtime will still be 5 Eastern.
Oh yeah. No,
but
for sure. It's just going to be them getting everyone
happening
through
beforehand, and it's like
they're going to have so much more to deal with before the actual show.
And it's just ridiculous. Like, why would you put yourself in that position? I don't get it.
We'll talk about it. Let's get into that. So why would they put themselves in this position? I believe this next part that we're talking about is super controversial. This is arguably the most controversial part of this entire thing that we're talking about today.
100%.
It's they're going to be pre-taping this show 8 different Oscar categories, and they're going to be releasing the acceptance speeches or the award acceptances during the live broadcast, but they're going to be doing it before the actual live broadcast. So they're going to record it and edit it somehow so that it flows with the time that they have, and then that's going to air during the live show. But it's not going to be we're not going to be watching that part live, and that's
Yeah.
never happened ever.
I thought they did like 2 or 3 categories a couple of years ago, like before the pandemic. I thought like 2019 had like 1 or 2 that were pre-done, or like
I'm not
either,
sure.
or like it was during commercial break. That's what it was.
Yeah, I don't know if they
They
do.
presented them during a commercial break. And so that way, when we
Yeah,
came back from the commercial break, we found out who won. And they did a
right,
little like, here's who won, and here's when they came on stage, and then moving on to the next thing. And that was
right.
the closest they had gotten to this point. But you're right. I don't think they've pre-taped anything before.
I think this is super controversial. I mean, I want to
Oh.
read. I want to hear your thoughts, but I'm going to read a couple of people's responses that are scathing. On top of
Mm,
that, we're not just talking about like people like us that watch the show who are literally nerds for this type of stuff. I mean, I love the art of filmmaking. I know you love the art of
oh
filmmaking
yeah.
too. Being a guy who works behind the scenes of video production, it's the small things that make the movie what it is. And the more you understand that, the more you appreciate it, and the more outraged you are that they're deciding to keep these segments of the show that people might not see as the most exciting parts, and putting those to the side. It's like, what are you trying to say to the people that put all their love and time into that? And it's actually sparking off people to be in solidarity with those people that are going to be having their awards presented early. A
Yeah.
whole bunch of celebrities and people are going to be showing up early to the Oscars, like to make sure that they're there, so that they're showing their support. Because I mean, I can tell you this: you can't get anywhere without editing or sound
Yeah.
or any of those things.
If those weren't there, you wouldn't have a movie. You can only
So what are
direct
your, what
so
are your thoughts?
much.
What are your thoughts, Alex, on just this idea of pre-taping these categories for the Oscars? And they're just so important categories that they're not just something
It's
that you can throw away.
it's so idiotic. Like, it's one of those things where even if people don't necessarily fully understand it, they still, like, even if you're not a huge movie buff, you know that every category that is on here makes a difference in the show. Like, I don't know anything about makeup and hairstyling for different movies, but I know it's a huge part of it. And the different nominations, like, that's the only nomination that Cruella has. Like, if they get it, which I wouldn't be surprised if they did, because they have amazing makeup and hairstyling in that film because of everything with the fashion and everything like that. And it's just like, if you take that away from them, it really is just a shot in the gut of, hey, we don't care about these categories. Like, if you're choosing to not put them on the air like they should be, it's literally you telling them, hey, you guys aren't important enough to be on TV. And like we were saying, you can't have a movie without editing, without sound design, without, let's see, what are the ones they're doing? So
I'll
documentary,
list them off.
short.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
you
go
got
for
them.
it. Uh,
Yeah, documentary short, film editing, makeup and hairstyling, original score, production design, animated short, live action short, and sound.
like, all of that is what makes a movie. You can't have a movie without sound. We know movies because of their score. Star Wars. The first thing, if you say Star Wars to somebody, first thing you think of
Sound.
is the soundtrack. Jurassic Park. You hear that, immediately know what it is. And not like, you know exactly what that is based on original score. And on the same track with Star Wars, sound design is 80% of that movie. Is you've got the blaster sounds, you've got the lightsaber sounds, you've got the different sounds that ships make.
Iconic.
And with like Dune, that's half of the movie is the sound design, and it's
Mm.
amazing, and it's so much better because of that sound design. And you can't just say, oh, sorry, like, you're not a face of a thing. It's like, no, that's not how this works. That this is the craft behind the movie. Just because their face isn't on there doesn't mean they're not important. And I'm an editor. Like, you take editing away, you don't have anything. You've got 10 hours or 80 hours, depending on however long you shoot this movie for. You've got 100 hours of footage. That's just there. You can
Right.
direct it, you
You're
can have
right.
the stars in it. If you don't edit it, it's just there. And sure, a lot of editing is like according to what the director wants, but you need the eye of a film editor to know how to make those shots work together. Like
Mm,
if you want an example, like some of the lower level like YouTube channels, when they do stuff, usually their editing is pretty solid, but you can tell when it's lower budget half because of the editing, because it feels really stock and jumpy and like it's not very smooth. Whereas if you look at a higher budget film that takes the time to do the film editing and make sure everything composites well, because that's part of film editing, like that goes into visual effects. Like the fact that film editing is cut and visual effects isn't is mind-boggling. Those two go
mm,
hand in hand. You can't have visual effects without editing. Like it just
mm,
doesn't work. And then production design. That's the entire movie. Unless you're shooting on a green screen the entire time, you have to have production design. And even if
mhm.
you are shooting in green screen the entire time, you have digital production design, because they'll talk to the animators and the visual effects artists on how to design the production. You can't have a movie without these things. And I mean, sure, the like documentary short, animated short, live action short are smaller categories, but that's still people's work. Like that is still something they put tons of time into in order to get onto this stage of awards. And like getting an Oscar for them is just as big for them as it is getting Best Picture for something. Like that is huge if you are a short film artist, like if you're a short filmmaker and that's what you do, getting that award is huge. And sure, maybe we haven't seen the shorts, but when they show up on Oscars, more people will watch them. And it brings more
Exactly. It,
awareness to
it it
that
brings more
category.
exposure to that category. Exactly.
Yeah. And it's like, if you take that away, it just cuts the legs underneath them so far. It's like you're trying to eliminate the short film industry as a whole. And but some of those are the best ones. Like those are so much fun to
Yeah.
watch.
And
Like,
let me
yeah, go for it.
Yeah, and let me jump in here with just the widespread criticism from the actual Academy members
Hmm.
for this whole decision. I just wanted to say uh, that in an open letter that was written earlier this month, that more than 70 Oscar winners, including James Cameron, Kathleen Kennedy, and John Williams,
Which are some
they
of the
all
biggest
plan.
names.
Yeah, they all say that that plan would cause irreparable damage to the Oscars' reputation by treating certain less starry nominees as second-class citizens. So I was reading that on my laptop, so it's a little
Uh,
weird going through
I
it, but
mean, but yeah,
second-class citizens, man.
that's how it feels. Like if I worked on editing or sound, which is like the two things I would probably work on for Dune, or like what other ones are like, let's see if I can find the
It's like
list
Power
here.
of the Dog and
Yeah,
stuff like
Power of
that
the
too, I
Dog,
think.
like some of these that are could get Best Picture. You don't get Best Picture if it sounds like poop. You don't get Best Picture if the editing isn't there.
Tick Tick
Like
Boom, I think, is also
Tick Tick
nominated as well
Boom.
too.
The editing and sound for that is amazing.
Oh
Like
yeah.
you don't get these great movies without sound and editing and everything else. The production design, the makeup, everything. And it's like
I
there's
just love how
it's
I
just
just love how
ridiculous.
the obviously people like us are we're outraged at this, basically being people that really appreciate the art of filmmaking. But it's really
Mhm.
reassuring to see that the over 70 Oscar winners and members of the Academy,
Crazy.
these aren't just like people like us who've never really made anything
Yeah, we're not just people.
that's
It's
on
not
that
just
scale.
people ranting online about something. It's like these
No,
are people that have done it.
no, it's I mean, I mentioned, James Cameron and, John Williams and some of those people, but I mean, Steven Spielberg himself, I mean, he had some scathing remarks. But I also wanted to highlight the Motion Picture Editors Guild.
Hmm. It's really
They
cool to
released
see
this.
them stepping up.
So the Editors Guild, which is what Alex was just talking about, film editing, they came out with a statement saying, and this is scathing right here. This cuts really deep to them. We understand the Academy's desire to make a more arresting show, but this move renders the invisible art of editing even less visible. I mean, when I read that, I was like, that is, first of all, that's a great, like, sort of
Oh
encapsulation
yeah,
of this. But it's
100%.
also it's so savage and gets right to the point. It's an invisible art that people, once they understand it, it becomes the most important part of the movie for them.
Yep.
It's an invisible art that, you shed light on it, and then you're like, wow, and it makes you pay more attention to those choices that movies make with editing and sound and all those things.
Mhm.
And also with short documentaries and
Oh,
short
yeah.
animated. It's like, well, without the Oscars and without the recognition and treating it with the respect that it's desired, then it's going to remain even more invisible. Like, people are just not going to find, because they're just looking at, the what they call the arresting show, the entertainment
Right.
value of the actual show, rather than the importance of highlighting
It's like
the
what it's
crucial
supposed to be.
contributions to movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like
And there's even more I could go into, but I'm just reading all of these, like, remarks
it's
from
just
other guilds
crazy.
and other groups of people.
Yeah, and like it's one of those things where like you mentioned it before, like this this award show is for movie lovers. It's not for the general public. It's not like it's great that the general public tunes in, but it's not meant for them. This is meant for people like us. This is meant for the stars of the movies. It's meant for all of the crew that went into it. It's meant for every name that you see on the credits of a movie. That is what this award show is for. It is not
Yeah.
for the general public. Like, you
Yeah.
shouldn't build this for the general public. This is not some Hall of Fame of like the like Kids Choice Awards or like Nickelodeon Choice Awards where it's like, oh, we just have a fun time and it's like it's cool to get nominated or whatever, but it's just a fun time. Like, no, this is serious. Like, this is like the Grammys for movies. For the Grammys, you want to, if you have a possibility of being on there, you want to get it. Like, every
Mhm.
time you get a Grammy or are nominated for a Grammy, it's a huge deal. It's the same thing here with movies. If you are the producer for it, you want to see your name up there. You want to be able to go on stage and accept an award, whether it's you getting it or your movie getting it. You can be happy and say, I was a part of that. Whereas
Yeah.
if that gets cut, like, so if you have a whole editing team, because there's always like the lead editor and then you've got all the other editors that help with the process. If that just gets cut, that entire team loses all sorts of credibility because it's like, we won an Oscar, but now I feel like nobody cared. And
Right,
this
right.
this this whole award show needs to be tailored to those people, not to the general public, which the Academy
Exactly.
doesn't get.
We're gonna get into that even further. That's gonna be part of our closing just message to you guys about all of the controversy and all the stuff that's been going on. And I do want to reiterate the fact too that I think that other award nominees like Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye
Yeah, that
has
was cool
come
to
out
see.
publicly and said days ago that she's gonna skip the red carpet interviews if they're going on during this pre-taping of the Oscar show. She said she's gonna make sure that she's there watching
Mhm.
in case, even if they don't win, she's just there to support
Yeah,
the
be
hair
there
and
in
makeup.
support.
She's there to support the hair and makeup team. That really, her performance was great as Tammy Faye, but
Oh,
it
yeah.
was the hair and makeup people that put together this character, because they captured who that character was through the hair and makeup. And obviously, it's a front runner, but even if you're not a front runner, just the fact that you're nominated and that people are there to respect you, I think that's huge. I think
Yeah, it's
that's what it's all
ugh.
about. That's what these shows are about. And you could be a small, more independent story. You could be bigger, but at the end of the day, what matters is the craft, and we're all celebrating the craft. And I think that even the biggest stars and the biggest celebrities and even members of the Academy are recognizing this, and they're stepping down. Like, some people have even stepped down because of this decision. I mean, that should show
Which
you
is
guys how
crazy.
controversial this situation is right now.
Yeah, it's crazy that
And
if you're a member, you step down from being in the Academy. Like, that's how big of a deal this is.
it is. It's worth basically putting your foot down. And I think,
Mhm.
it's definitely something they've heard controversy of. And we do give them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, we haven't seen the show pre-taped. We know the hosts, I think, are going to be Jason Momoa and Josh Brolin, and
Oh,
they'll
okay.
do their best to kind of make it work. And we'll see how the overall show pans out. We'll reserve our judgment of the final product until we actually watch it. But I would say,
Mm.
for me as a fan, I think for Alex too, as a fan, we're speaking for ourselves, but I think just in general, it's such a tragic thing to seemingly be treating these categories as, like that quote we read earlier,
Second class
second
citizens.
class
Yeah.
citizens. I think that's so true. And And you can be a casual movie fan, but once you learn about the behind the scenes stuff, I think you really do you appreciate these categories, and you want
Hmm.
to see them enjoyed just as much as something like Best Picture, as Alex mentioned. Um, and yeah, so moving into the next thing, kind of the main controversy aside, there are a couple of nitpicks and a couple other things that are causing controversy that I think me and Alex, we could be described as uh, more in analytical and more experienced movie fans than a
Hmm.
casual. I wouldn't call myself like not casual, because I do.
I mean,
I don't
I'm
make movies.
definitely a casual fan. Yeah.
I mean, I don't make movies, and I don't know,
Right.
like, if I do movie trivia, especially when the lights are on you, I mean, Marvel movie trivia, I mean, you and me could probably do pretty decent at that.
Yeah.
Some of those things that we've been fans of since we were little kids.
Mm.
But I wouldn't consider myself like a filmmaker or like on that level of that tier
Hmm.
of movie fan. But I would say that the show itself and the hosting and the presenters for the show, they should be all about that A-list sort of Hollywood dream, like bringing about those types of feelings in you.
Yeah.
Not all the time, because you do have a lot of comedy with the show, so it's good to
Yeah.
have a stand-up comedian in there. But I wanted to talk to you guys, or see what Alex thought, and just bring up the point of the hosting and the presenters. What do you think about the hosts and the people that are presenting awards this year? Are they going away from what the Oscars are about in terms of that Hollywood dream, that celebrity, that A-list celebrity style that we all look to, the glitz and glamour, the Hollywood spectacle? Or are they kind of trying to appeal to a different audience with the hosts and the people that are presenting the awards?
So I've pulled up a full list of all the presenters for the evening
Yeah, yeah,
here,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
It's a little crazy.
it is something else. Just looking at this list, like some of them make sense because they're huge in their industry. Like I get that. It makes sense if it's the entertainment industry. The ones that don't make sense are like Tony Hawk. Don't really
No,
get that one.
he makes sense. Did you see why?
I saw that quote, which I think is
No, no,
him
no,
being
not just the quote.
sarcastic,
The quote was
but
funny. The quote was funny, and he was
yeah.
even on a podcast talking about it. He's like, I got an Oscar invite, and he's like, I don't know why I'm there, but it's because there's a documentary that's nominated about
Mm.
the skateboarding or whatever in, I want to say, Pakistan,
Oh,
and he was a
okay.
producer. He was like a producer, and
That
he helped
makes
make that
sense.
movie.
That
So
makes
he's
sense.
there, but yeah, it's funny because Tony Hawk is going to be there, and he's someone from our childhood and even before us.
Yeah,
So he's not like a new
it's a
celebrity,
it's
but he's also not
interesting.
associated with movies. So it's
Yeah,
true. It's weird, but I think
but that makes sense if he's doing stuff for
it
the
makes sense because of the
documentary.
documentary, and
Yeah,
he's actually going to be presenting. So it'd be cool if he presents I think it's best short documentary or best. I
yeah.
forget if
One,
it's a
it's
short documentary or not.
okay.
It,
Yeah, it's one of
I-
one of
we'll look
those.
through we'll look through the nominees and see. But it would be so cool if he presents the award to the documentary that he helped
Yeah,
to
that
make.
would be really
That would
cool.
be really cool. So Tony Hawk, I get. It's weird, but I get it. The other
Now,
ones, not so much.
yeah. Then you've got Sean White, and then you've
Snowboarder.
got uh, so I was looking at Serena and Venus Williams, which didn't make sense, but then you've got King
It
Richard.
kind of makes
So
sense.
like
It kind
with
of
King
makes
Richard
sense.
there, it makes a little bit more sense.
And they were on set. They were
Um,
on set with the
right,
director
yeah.
and with the
And so
actors, like
they
helping
had
it
a
out.
lot of hand in that. So like it
Yeah.
took me a second, and I was like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. But then like DJ Khaled kind of makes sense. Like he's entertainment industry, but
Oh
like
man,
you could have
no, he
found
doesn't make
somebody
sense.
else.
He doesn't
But
make
like,
sense.
and that's where, and then like
You're not gonna
Sean
have
Diddy
Rachel Ziegler
Combs,
come in, but you're gonna have DJ Khaled
right?
and Diddy.
Yeah, and Diddy, and it's like I understand that they're
Come on,
big for
guys.
their like industry, but that they're big for their industry, not
I
movies.
like their
They don't
music too. Like, I'm not
right,
hating. I like their music, but that they don't belong
but
in
they don't
a
belong in
show
the
about
like
movies.
yeah, that just it makes zero sense. And like those are the ones that really stood out to me. But there are some that I'm like surprised and like names I haven't seen in a while. We also have like
Kelly Slater's gonna be there. The surfer.
oh, that's right, that was the other one, Kelly Slater, which I didn't even recognize that name. I had no idea who that was.
So she's a surfer.
Um,
But
what?
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't get some of those names, man. For the first year here, it's
It's just
controversial. And what do you
weird.
think? What do you think of the host? So this year, for you guys that don't know, the hosts of this Oscars are the first actual official host since I believe Jimmy Kimmel. So like 2019,
Yeah,
2018.
way back.
And I actually really like the Jimmy Kimmel
Yeah, he was good.
Oscars because
And
he
then they just
brought he
went
brought
no
this.
host, and it was just weird.
Right, right, and then the host was pretty cool that next year. But Jimmy Kimmel, I think, brought like those tourists in. I think that was he brought those
Okay,
tourists in,
yeah.
and they were like shaking hands with like Brad Pitt and everybody, like talking to them. Uh, but the first official host for the Oscars since Jimmy Kimmel. So we've had no hosts, and now we have we have these three, and it's a
Mm,
trio of ladies: Regina Hall, Wanda Sykes, and Amy Schumer, all of whom are comedians. Well, two of them are comedians. Amy Schumer and Sykes are comedians.
yep.
Uh, and Regina Hall is more of like a comedy actress,
Right,
but all
yeah.
three of them can do comedy. So it's more a nitpick because I still feel like they could do a good job because part of being a host of the Oscars is a little bit of stand-up comedy, like
Mhm.
Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, like the stuff that they would do on stage. And I think that they're funny ladies individually. So I'm
It'll
giving them the
be
benefit of the doubt, but they
it'll
don't
be
scream
interesting.
A-list Hollywood celebrity to me. I didn't know if you thought that same way.
Yeah, and, like, there's so much bad publicity around Amy Schumer that it was just, like, really, like, you that of all the people to go with, you went with Amy Schumer, like, it felt a little weird.
Yeah.
Wanda Sykes makes more sense because 'cause she's been around for a while doing a lot of different comedy
Especially voice
runs,
actor work too
voice
for Wanda
acting,
Sykes, right?
yeah. Yeah, and then,
Yeah, she's been in a lot of things.
yeah, and then Regina Hall has been, in a few things, I don't know if she's been in much recently, but she's been in the public eye for a decent amount of time. The only one that really didn't make much sense was Amy Schumer.
Yeah, it just
It
overall,
just
it's like
felt weird.
yeah, it feels a little weird. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt, obviously, but I thought it would be
Right.
good to highlight it because it is one of those points of you're scratching your head, like why? What are the decisions for this? I mean, it's not like the Oscars haven't had controversial hosts in the past or people that didn't do a good job or didn't
Mm,
really come from that Hollywood A-list celebrity status. But
right.
at the same time, it's like as long as you're entertaining, as long as you can pull off the jokes and the little skits and stuff that they do, and they're trying something different with this Oscars. They're trying something
Yeah.
different, which is fine. But I think that people have reason to be nervous about the host and the
Yeah.
people presenting. It's like there's reason for us to think that this show it might go off the rails and be a lot of a departure from not just what we're used to, but what the Oscars actually are
What it
about.
should be, yeah, and
Yeah.
so because I pulled up a list of hosts, and the funny thing is I don't remember most of these people being hosts for the Oscars because the people that I remember are usually when presenters are duds or when something weird happens with presenters. Usually, the hosts are pretty good, and
Yeah, the hosts maybe
they're not, like,
they do a couple
memorable,
jokes.
but
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point to share with people. So the hosts, on occasion, sometimes there's like some big controversy with the hosts. They'll do something that was,
yeah, it was
really
the
derail the
Kevin Hart
show.
was the last one that people and that
He
was
was
before
supposed
it
to,
even happened,
yeah, he
and
was
he
supposed
they
to
all got
host, and
all up in arms about it, and it
yeah,
was
but
just
it's a good,
weird.
but yeah, Alex, it's a good point to bring up to people that the host usually just kind of they don't do much. I mean, they come on stage and they have a few bits they do. They open the show.
Mhm.
They have an opening sort of monologue type thing, and then they have a banter with some of the celebrities in the crowd. That's
Yeah,
pretty much what the host does. It's not like if the hosts are bad or if they don't do much, then the show's going to be terrible. It's like the reason
right.
why people watch the show isn't necessarily for the hosts. It's for the nominees and just the glamour and everything of it, the award show.
Mhm.
So it's not as big of a deal. But you're right. It seems that some of the people in presenting awards and some of that could possibly
Yeah.
cause more of a okay, what am I watching type thing. Or
Yeah,
maybe you just tune it out. Maybe you just tune them out like, oh, DJ Khaled's on. I'm just gonna mute it. Like I don't,
yeah, I'll just wait to see who won. I don't need to listen to him talk through whatever the script is. And that something I was just thinking of was it feels like they're trying to move towards, like, Golden Globes style because
oh man,
like
I hope not.
right, and that I'm of the same mindset. But, like, I remember when, oh, I can't remember his name now. I just had it in my head. The guy who did British Office. I can't remember the
Oh,
name.
Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, when Ricky Gervais did it like the
Yeah,
fourth
he
or
was a
fifth time,
savage.
he was a savage, and it was hilarious, and it was so much fun to
Savage.
watch, and I remember it. And then Tina Fey and Amy Poehler like co-hosted. Great, amazing, but that's a fun show. That's how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a fun show that we watch, and it's all about like TV comedians, and they have serious moments too, but like a lot of it is this fun show. Academy Awards isn't supposed to be that. You do have like a couple of moments in the beginning or the end, but having three comedians as co-hosts, I don't know. It'll be interesting.
They're really going swinging for the fences with that comedic, like you were saying, that comedic entertaining type show. And I wonder
Yeah.
if that's so, if they're cutting down on the actual award segments to focus on the entertainment, so they have more uh of the humor, more of those jokes and bits in the show. I think that's actually going to maybe make the show even harder,
Yeah,
especially
it's
if
gonna make it feel
those
longer.
bits. It's gonna make it longer, especially if those bits don't hit. Like if the jokes and everything hit, then okay,
Yeah.
we're going down this sort of path, like you were saying, the Golden Globes path. But it could still be fun. It could still be entertaining. But I do think that it takes away the reputation of the Oscars as being like this very prestigious. Because
It's the
the
black
Golden
tie
Globes are
event.
not prestigious. Yeah,
No,
they are not
no.
prestigious. And we
Like,
can
it's
get
great
into
to
the
get
Golden
it.
Globes.
Yeah, like Golden Globes and Emmys are great to get, and like they're crazy awards to still get like great accomplishments. But like the Oscars is like the black tie event for film, and it's like
Mhm, mhm.
super official, super classy. And so just to bring in comedians and bring in a bunch of sports stars to do it, like you wouldn't bring in Tom Cruise to give out an award at the NFL Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
You wouldn't
exactly.
bring
You got
you wouldn't
find the
bring
right
in
people.
yeah, you wouldn't bring in Neil Patrick Harris for an award at the Grammys. Like it just doesn't make sense why they're bringing in these people that aren't from the film industry.
Right.
It's just weird.
And let's get into. I'm actually going to switch the last two, the order a little
Yeah,
bit.
go for it.
I want to talk about the. This could be maybe the most controversial. I don't know. I think that the categories that are going to be pre-taped, I think, are definitely take the cake for the most
Yeah.
controversial part of the Oscars this year. But this idea of the fan favorite award. So there are tons of award shows out there that
Yeah.
do this type of popularity contest. Let the fans vote on what they think is the best. But that's not supposed to be the Academy Awards. They're trying this idea of the fan favorite Oscar that's going to be delivered to announced via the Oscars that night. People using the hashtag fan favorite award, and also people voting online, not
Mhm.
people that are members of the Academy or people that are actually into movie making and actually making uh, relevant content in the field of film. But we're
Mhm.
going to the fans, and I think before I get your thoughts on it, I just wanted to see. It's just like it's just this idea of bringing in social media and bringing in engagement from Twitter and stuff like that into the Oscars, which I mean, I don't. I mean, you can still engage with the show, but just to have it to this degree where you're actually giving it a separate award for it, I disagree with it, and I think it brings the show even more down the reputation of it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Where like it'd be fun. I think it'd be fine and fun to have it be a thing that comes out like you do voting and everything, and excuse me, have it be all on Twitter. Have it not like have it be like a quote unquote official award, but not have it be an award you give out in person and like take up time to give that award out when you're like so I don't know if that's actually happening if it's like an official award that they're handing it out to, but if they are, why are they cutting 8 other categories to give out a Twitter award? Like
I mean,
that's
I
like
don't think they're giving it out. I think they're just announcing what the fans voted on. And you know what's funny? Can I just say something that came into my mind too? Is that because we can talk about the social media influencers and stuff that
mm,
were invited to come to the red
which
carpet
is
to basically
also
promote to ba-
ridiculous.
to basically make content for the for ABC and for the Academy and stuff, like basically to target market people who are using social media to get them to watch the show or to make money off of people. Basically, it's a money thing.
Yeah.
Um, but I wanted to just say this idea of the fan award is that giving recognition to a movie that I believe wasn't given recognition it deserved, which is Spider-Man: No Way Home,
Mm,
and other movies like that. But if you ever give, like, there's a funny YouTube channel on YouTube called Internet Historian. I don't know if you guys have ever checked him out. But he makes the funniest, like, sort of meme videos of, like, popular things that, in culture, internet culture.
Mm.
And he covers, like, controversy and stuff like that, and in a really funny way. And one of his videos was on like polls. So, like, when companies were doing all these polls, like, oh, give us your feedback. Well, you never want to open it up to the internet, because what they'll do is people online will, like, find the link and they'll figure out a way to, like, spam the votes. So
Yep.
it's like, "Oh, help us name our next
Oh
our
yeah, those
next
are the worst.
help us name our next meal, like, that we're gonna be serving." And people, the number one vote is, like, Adolf Hitler or something, because, like,
Yeah,
you
you
can
just
change it.
spam it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Oh
people can
man.
figure out how to, like, in the code, like, how to change it. And then if they win the popularity contest, like your rules say, you gotta do it.
You got
And,
that's
like,
what's gotta happen.
there was one thing with Justin Bieber or something, it was like his management was like, win a trip, win a hangout, personal hangout with Justin Bieber or something. And it was like they were making this one person that was, like, stalking him or something like that, like the person that would win. Like, it's like you
Oh
never want to
man.
give the public, like, that type of thing, because I think that Spider-Man No Way Home deserved more recognition, and we'll talk about that in a second.
Mm.
But I believe that putting it out to the public does more harm than good, and I think it
Oh,
also,
100%.
like a popularity contest isn't necessarily what makes a great movie. It's, like, not just the thing that was the most popular, the most seen by people. It's the movie that, on a technical level and on entertainment value level, was good enough to rise to that level of being seen as the best movie of that year. And I think Spider-Man No Way Home reaches that standard, and I think it will probably win the fan award. But that being
Mhm.
said, I don't think that having something open to the public like this during a serious award show where you're focusing on
Yeah.
the science of movie making. Not saying that people that watch movies don't have an opinion that's valid. I'm just saying that those people are usually like us, like, more casual, and our level and our understanding of movies isn't quite as deep as some of those industry professionals.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And the way that I would say that they should do it is not announce it during the award show, just have it strictly on social media. So like announce it like an hour before the show happens or something, or like it before Best Picture comes out, announce it on Twitter, like what the fan favorite is. Like you don't have to take screen time with it because it's just a bunch of random people on the internet voting for it. You have no idea if they've seen the movie. You have no idea if they like are spamming it 100 times or 1,000 times, or like you said, rewriting the code to make it show something else or something. And it's like, yeah, and it just doesn't feel right for the Oscars to be like, let's do a fan favorite. It's like this isn't the Nick's Choice Awards. There shouldn't
No.
be a
And
fan favorite.
it also seems like you're almost like you're patronizing the fans too. It's like, oh, let's give them their little category, like you said.
Yeah,
I almost would have respected it more if they actually handed an actual award. Like, if you won the fan choice award,
you
they
on the
have an
fan
actual
choice.
Oscar
Yeah,
for you. Uh, but no, it's supposed to be done by professionals, like handed by professionals. Now, that being said, people in the Academy, some people that do vote on the Oscars haven't seen all the movies, right? I mean,
right.
it's a
Yeah,
thing. So there's those types of things, but it's definitely more closer to the professionals and being nominated by peers. Like, wouldn't you feel better, Alex, if out of all of the people that do your same exact job at work, video editing and that type of thing, if out of all the video editors, in this big group of, like, professionals, they recognized you as, out of all of them, being the best, versus someone on the street,
be
that
like,
doesn't really know anything about video editing,
good
saying that you're the
job,
best.
way to
It's like,
go.
which one are you going to value? Yeah, which one do you value more? You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, I would agree with that.
So yeah, and I think going off of that, I mean, I do really think that there was a missed opportunity for Spider-Man No Way Home this year. And I think that especially with hosting, I mean, you want to talk about charisma, you want to talk about Hollywood, you want to talk about important to pop culture and important to movie culture, is this idea of the Spider-Man franchise, and having the three of them possibly host the Oscars, or Tom Holland
That would have
host,
been cool.
and then bring Toby Toby and Andrew, because they're already going to be there. And
Yep.
Andrew is nominated for it and probably going to win. I mean, he's a front runner for the
I
award
really
for
hope he
best
gets
actor.
it. I really hope he
So
gets it. He was
so Alex, like,
phenomenal.
do you feel like, the fan choice, bringing in influencers, bringing in like the popular, sort of more surface level casual fans who are definitely more aware of Spider-Man No Way Home is one thing, but maybe the actual Academy Awards should have actually given legitimate praise and legitimate like critical acclaim and featured and focused on the Spider-Man franchise, this Academy Awards capturing on this really special moment, not just for the casual fans and for everyday people, fans of Marvel, but people that are fans of movies and the movie theater experience in general, because Spider-Man really did help to save movie theaters during a time where if the pandemic wasn't here, it might have actually broken all-time records and become
Right.
like probably like $3 billion. I mean, it could have, but a pandemic sort of slowed it down. But because of Spider-Man No Way Home, we can and Shang-Chi and a couple other movies that came up before it, like we don't want to throw all of those movies under the bus, but Spider-Man No Way Home was the definitive, if you could say it, the superhero
Mhm.
of movies, and just the fact that you're not going to give it that love. I mean, I don't understand that.
Well, I mean, so with the social media stuff, I think that inviting influencers and trying to bank on that is a real crappy move. I think that's really stupid to try to bank on the fact that they'll stream. I read an article that was like they'll have exclusive streams on Facebook and Instagram before, like during the pre-recording stuff and like the red carpet, which is just stupid. That's not what this is about. This isn't a publicity stunt. This is an award show.
It seems
Treat it
desperate
treat it
too.
one.
It
Yeah,
seems it seems desperate, doesn't it?
yeah, and I think it's the studio execs at ABC that are just trying to make this something it's not. Like they're trying to pull more money out of it when that's not what this is for. Like
I absolutely say it too.
if you're worried about money for putting on the Academy Awards, ask for more money from the millionaires that are in your academy. Like there's no way they have a money problem. You have some of the biggest names in movie business of all time that are part of that guild. Like
Or just make
I'm
it smaller. Just
or
make
just
it
make it
smaller.
smaller. Yeah, like
If
it's
you do,
just
if they do have a legit money problem, just make it smaller.
yeah, like you don't have to have the giant like hall for the like everyone there and all the food and all the fancy stuff that comes with it. And it's just like you don't need to
Yeah,
bring in influencers and try to be like quote unquote like with the times. Like that's not what this is for. This is not supposed to be some social media hype train. It's
yeah,
it's an award show. It should be an official award show. So stop
yeah.
trying to get in the metaverse or whatever and try to just be what you're supposed to be and people will appreciate it. Not the more this like gets twisted, the less the people that are actually watching it will watch. Like you're going to lose
Absolutely,
people watching it while trying to get other people. And those people won't be
absolutely,
interested because it's an award show. They don't care. The people that do care don't want it the way you're doing it. So stop it.
exactly, exactly. You're appealing to people that do not care. Now,
Mm,
let's bring this in and let's wrap this up
yeah.
to going into exactly what you were talking about, Alex. I mean, overall, I mean, I think this is just such a slap in the face to the people that really actually do care about the Oscars. I mean, there are people that don't care, that are more casual, that just kind of they want to watch some celebrity stuff or
Mm,
see what might be nominated or what might have won the award, but they don't care about the art of filmmaking as much. And it seems like the Oscars are trying to bring that excitement, and they're trying to like boost their ratings and their audience viewership and retention. Uh, Especially because it seems that last year's Oscars were just so low. They were just so
oh,
low
it
because of
was just
COVID and
abysmal. Yeah.
because the show is bad and it had to be like changed. They probably shouldn't have had the show, by the way.
That's kind of what
Uh,
I thought. I was surprised that they were having one because there was like
I,
zero movies for them to do.
but it seems so. Alex, it seems that in response to last year and wanting to bring that excitement and boost their audience this year, it seems that they're trying to appeal to people in a different way than they ever have, and it's leading the people that love the show, the viewers like us, and the the celebrities and the members of the academy and the nominees, the people that are nominated for the awards. It's
Yeah,
leaving us confused, and it's leaving us frustrated.
definitely. I mean, they like the fact that, like I said, they're literally just pushing away the people that they should be pulling towards the film. Like it's making everybody that actually cares about it not care or get frustrated or get mad and actually just like leave. And it's they're going in all the wrong directions with it. And like you said, like I've said, it's a slap in the face to everybody who actually cares about movies and like the process behind it, because this isn't like The Bachelor or like different award shows like the like I keep saying the NFL Hall of Fame. Like it's not something that is just a, oh, that's cool to get. Like this is one of the highest, like most
It's
highly
got a certain,
regarded things in the world. Like we
yeah,
have foreign people coming to watch it.
it's a global awards.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
like you should care about how it affects the people that actually care about it, not trying to get more and more audience the wrong way.
exactly. And we'll end it with this. That was a great statement, and we'll wrap it up with just this statement here. Who are the Oscars trying to appeal to? We both believe that the Oscars, we feel that they are supposed to be about the celebration of the art of filmmaking.
Mm,
And it seems that that ABC wants to appeal to someone other than that. And it seems that their plans, maybe going forward, is an attempt to reach a group of people that are never going to care about the Oscars,
yep.
like the way that it's supposed to be cared about. And that is what we're talking about today. We're not exactly sure if that's going to end up being the end result, but so far, with the controversy, with the frustration, it seems like it's going down a path like in Star Wars. They say you're going down a path we can't follow. It's not make or break. It's not a deal breaker for us, but we are saying that Oscars, please come back to reaching out to the people that really care about the awards, who care about
Mm,
the art of filmmaking, and stop trying to appeal to um, so many people that really aren't. Get them interested in becoming fans, but not at the expense of the people that make the movies the way they are. So, Alex, thank you for being here, my man.
yeah, definitely.
It's been awesome talking to you. It's been like just bringing up these topics, helping to shed some light on how people might be feeling about the Oscars.
Hmm.
You have some great insights. And speaking of editing and all this other stuff, do you have any projects or anything that you're working on you want to plug or say anything about?
Not at the moment. I'm kind of still doing the full-time editing gig, so nothing too crazy happening on personal projects at least, but maybe
We got to
sometime
plug all
in the
your
near
personal
future.
projects if you have anything going on
Oh, for
that if
sure.
people want to
Yeah.
work with you.
I mean,
He's a
I'm
video
always
editor.
open to work if people want help with editing. It's northerngateproductions.com. Got my reel on there. Got other things you can look at on that site. So I film, edit, produce, direct, all of the above.
He's going to
I
be in the
love doing
academy
it.
one day.
uh,
um, be sure be sure to check out more of our videos on YouTube for sure.
yeah,
And we'll have more content coming soon. Also, this podcast is now available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts too. So
that's
we're going to be
awesome.
posting the audio version. So if there's clips and little distortions and stuff, I'll try to like edit it out because we had a few little like, but really nothing bad. Nothing as bad
Yeah.
as we've had before. But if you guys like to listen to the audio only versions of this stuff, then definitely go check it out over there where you guys get your podcasts. This has been the Pop Culture Lighthouse. And once again, we just want to help you to better navigate and simplify your pop culture experience. And we hope to see you guys next week with some more helpful tips and some more helpful insights to help to better enhance your experience with entertainment. I've been LJ, and this has been Alex, and we'll see you guys later. Have a great rest of your
Have
day,
a good
rest
night,
of your
everybody.
evening, and we'll see you guys later.